All right, everybody, we don't have to sit through the whole intro again. Sorry about that. Hopefully, it's holding up a bit better this time. If not, I'm out of options. But again, thank you all for being a part of today's show. I'm Ari Temkin. We're just after noon right here in the Central Time Zone. This is Phantom, the New World Order of Sports Media. And a big shout out to all of our partners at Phantom that help us to spread the word and give us a different platform on all these different Cowboys pages. Shout out to, again, to the Dallas Cowboys America's team page, Law Nation, Silver and Blue Nation, to Dallas Cowboys Report, the Dallas Cowboys Really Real fan page. Also, let's see here. Just want to make sure we've got everybody else in the house. Oh, and then our new partner, of course, at the Dallas Cowboys Fans Club, the Tried, True, and Bleeding Blue Dallas Cowboys Fans with a Z Club, and they do some really cool watch parties every week. So shout out to them, and of course Law Nation on YouTube, the Law Nation 2.0 page, which I'm streaming live on, as well as Phantom. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to check out the Phantom page, and most importantly, make sure to like the Phantom page on YouTube. Subscribe to the Phantom page on YouTube, and you get all this and other great Cowboys content. Buddy Johnson says, "Hey Ari, buddy, how are you?" Also, Dem Boys 27, are we back like bra straps? It's Vach Lombardi here. What up, Vach? How are you, buddy? Vach Lombardi, by the way, does fantastic work on the Cowboys. And make sure to subscribe to his channel as well, as he does great work. Jeffrey Jerome Watson says, "Sup, Ari." Erica Shaney in the house. I understand more now about why Rico is close to being cut. He was the highest paid practice squad player. Yeah, look, and Vach, I'm sure you could dive deep into the the Rico Gathers situation if you haven't already. But look, this is bothering me with the face thing here. It was fine before. It was fine when I got it started. Now all of a sudden my face looks like the Terminator. Go ahead, by the way, if you're watching this on Facebook, hit the share button if you wouldn't mind. Post your comments no matter where you're watching from. I'll get to your comments as soon as they're out there. But we can start with Rico Gathers if you'd like. He made another big catch in the game against Cincinnati. A nice catch where he went up and got the football. Look, if you listen to the pregame show along the Dallas Cowboys radio network, of which I am a part of, you heard Brian Broaddus, Christy Scales both bring up the fact that Rico is not assignment sound. He doesn't know where to block. He doesn't know who to block. He's I don't know what's going on with my face here, everybody, which is something that I say a lot to people, women especially. Chris Ben in the house. He's all he does is make catches. He doesn't have any idea schematically of what he's trying to do, which is a pretty big problem if you're trying to run a football team. So I've said this before. I'll continue to say it. He makes big plays, but he's not able to do anything in the blocking. As far as blocking, as far as he is not assignment sound. He is not schematically sound. So, he's not going to make this football team. Rico Gathers is not going to make the Cowboys, despite all the nice catches he's making in preseason football. G. Garcia says, "Gotta go, guys." Where you going, G? We just started. By the way, I'm Ari Temkin. You can hear me on 105 through the Fan, part of the Dallas Cowboys pre- and post-game show. And a reminder, next week, Sunday Night Football, Cowboys and Cardinals. It's going to bother me for an hour, isn't it, as I do this entire stream. Cowboys-Cardinals, we're going to be broadcasting live for the pregame show out on the Miller Lite West Plaza. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come say hi. But more importantly, if you'd like to go to SeatGeek.com and use promo code PHANTOM. Here's the deal. Preseason game number 3 is always the dress rehearsal. So if you want to see, pretty much what you're going to see in the regular season, you're going to see the starters play well into the second half. Presumably, which is, we'll get to this in a moment here, but if you want to be there for a big game, Sunday Night Football, it's the biggest preseason game of all of them. So you can get the discounted tickets because it's preseason, so those tickets are always discounted. And you want to get $20 off your order, go to SeatGeek.com, use promo code PHANTOM, Phantom, and they're going to get $20 off your first order. I know that they have 300 level seats, row 3 or row 4. You can get for like $50 to $60 a piece. So you buy a pair of those, $120. You're going to get $20 off. You pay $100 to get in the building, and the entire first half will be all first stringers. So you can get to see all the guys that you want to see in their final tune-up before the regular season, because we're not going to see anybody playing preseason week number 4. So come hang out with myself and Jesse Holly. We're going to be broadcasting the pregame show live from the West Plaza, the Miller Lite West Plaza. Sunday Night Football at the AT&T Stadium. And again, go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app and use promo code PHANTOM, F-A-N-T-O-M, to get $20 off your first order. All right, keep the comments coming. I'm going to be checking in on all the pages we're broadcasting from. And thank you to everybody for joining us today at noon Central, every day at noon Central, right here on Phantom, the new world order of sports media. Let's see here. Curtis Stark's in the house. David Sanchez says, is Jerry going to get Earl? Please say yes. Well, really, David, it's probably about Stephen Jones and not Jerry, but the point remains. Is there a greater emphasis for the Cowboys to now go after Earl Thomas now that Xavier Woods is out with an injury? And though the Zach Martin injury, we seem to be fairly optimistic on the status of Zach Martin moving forward, maybe less optimistic about Xavier Woods, in his injury. And again, this was a guy that there was concerns about just based on the fact that this is his first year as a starter. He's trying to step in at free safety. And, so my question to you is, do you all think that there's now a greater emphasis for the Cowboys to go out and get Earl Thomas? Or could they go out and get George Iloka, who was starting free safety for the Bengals for the last 5 years before he was released after the game on Saturday? So, would you rather them trade a second-round pick, which that could be the deal that gets it done today for Earl Thomas, or would you rather go out and sign George Iloka in free agency to shore up the hole they have at free safety? Andrew Blanding on the Dallas Cowboys America's team page asks why they're holding on to Chaz Green. Because they have 90 roster spots for training camp. He can play both the tackle and guard position, so he's multifaceted. But Andrew, the long-term answer to your question is he's not going to make this team. So, Chaz Green is not going to make this football team. So, he's with them now through training camp, but once they cut down to 53 after the final preseason game, he's not going to be with the team anymore. Eric Kushaney says, Reed, Iloka, Thomas, pick anyone at this point. Well, Eric Reed's not coming to Dallas. I've talked about this before. I'll continue to, whatever your stance on the anthem protest, Eric Reed has been pretty outspoken. He even if he said, well, I won't be kneeling this year, I don't see a fit there with the Dallas Cowboys, and I think that's the reason he remains unsigned. He's really talented. There's no reason for him not to be signed at this point other than that. So I would say at this point it's basically between Eric Reed. At this point, he's not going to be here. It's between It's between George Iloka and Earl Thomas. I'm back to looking like the Terminator. I'm going to have to turn off the light here. Sometimes it's too much light. Sometimes it's not enough light. I've got the shadows from this office that I'm in that's seeping in. It's making me look all, weird. But my apologies on that. I'm not the most technically sound individual, so just keep the comments firing. Joe Tranchino in the house. What's going on? Sabrina Cockrell gives me the thumbs up. Sabrina, how are you? Curtis Stark says, I was uncertain at first, but from what I've seen, we need Earl Thomas to solidify our secondary. Nicholas Price says, how about implementing a fullback that has reliable speed and hands that can obviously block for Zeke as well? I think the Cowboys like what they have out of Jameis Olawale. So I don't know that there's any concerns at this point over their fullback position. Curtis Stark says Awuzie is going to be a playmaker. That's right, Curtis. And if you've been watching this stream since I was in Oxnard, I said he was the best player I saw at training camp. Chidobe Awuzie was the best player that I saw at Cowboys training camp. He just, every single time they went 7-on-7s that first week that I was there, he was making plays on the ball. He was draping receivers. And we didn't really see that in preseason week 1, but we saw that in week 2. We saw that against Cincinnati at home. And I think we saw the corners play considerably better than they played in week 1. Especially because that was a point of emphasis from my vantage point because, they played poorly relative to how well they had been showing out at camp. I'm just going to do this until it goes away. I think it's the sun is the problem, so I might have to adjust the lights in here. My apologies, everybody. Thank you all for being a part of today's broadcast. Every day I stream live. I take your questions on the Cowboys. We interact. It's questions. It's interactivity. It's all that stuff. So every day here at 12 noon on Phantom, wherever you're watching, but make sure to subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching this on the Law Nation 2.0 YouTube page, let me go check out that page. Make sure everybody who's asked questions can have their questions addressed. I'll try to get to as many as I can as I bounce around all these different platforms and pages. I do have points that I want to make about the game, which I'll get into. But again, a reminder to make sure to like or subscribe on YouTube to the Phantom page, Phantom. That's where you can like the page. And Yeah, let's see here. What else we got? Cowboys X Factor in the house. Ari, that Cheeto INT was legendary. Praying Woods will be okay. Yeah, again, if you've been streaming me since training camp, I said he was the best player that I saw at camp. Better than Zach Martin, better than Travis Frederick, better than Zeke Elliott. He was the best player that I saw at camp in the week that I was there. And again, we didn't really see that week one of the preseason in San Francisco, but we saw that, last night or Saturday night. Not just the fact that he had that great interception, but I mean, you noticed they didn't target him or who he was on basically the entire game. I mean, he played well in run fits against the run. He was just exceedingly well, and he was everything that, that we thought. So yeah, that INT was ridiculous. I thought Jeff Driscoll, the backup Cincinnati Bengals quarterback that was in at that point, was throwing the ball away, and Cheeto just got a paw on it, tipped it up to himself, and then was able to catch it. Kay says, I like Iloka more than Reed anyway. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Although I like Earl Thomas better than Iloka, so go get Earl Thomas. That's kind of my opinion on it. Buddy Johnson says, Ari, is it time to panic at the safety position with Woods and Jamil Showers torn ACL? I mean, look, it was, and Eric Kashani saying this on the Phantom page, but, the safety's been an issue this entire time. So, look, they had concerns at safety. To me, it was always the weakest link. Maybe that or tight end were the two weakest links on this team. Now maybe there's a greater emphasis on going out to address that need because now you've got the Woods injury, Jamil Showers is injured, Kayvon Frazier's been banged up. I thought Tyree Robinson, their undrafted free agent, played well at the safety position, went in. But, yeah, I'm very concerned, as I've been throughout the course of training camp, with what they have at the safety position. And, Leo Elena's on the Dallas Cowboys America's team page says, a position we never addressed. And that's why, so, like, the conspiracy theorists in all of us notice that literally every single number that you can possibly have from 1 to 99 on the Cowboys is taken, except for the legendary numbers, the numbers they're not going to give away. 9 for Romo, 12 for Staubach, Aikman's number. Nobody has 8, nobody has 22, nobody has 82. Witten. So, like, when you go 1 through 99 on the Cowboys roster, every number is taken 1 through 99 except for all the legendary numbers and 29. Which is that's like the conspiracy theorists in like, ooh, maybe they're holding it for Earl Thomas. It's just bizarre that every number 1 through 99 is taken, except for the legendary Cowboy players, and Earl Thomas is number 29. But Wayne Markley says, hey there. Hey, Wayne, how are you? But yeah, I mean, look, at this point, it bears to reason that if the Cowboys have been reluctant to give up a second-round pick for Earl Thomas. That's the reason Earl Thomas remains sort of in limbo at this point. In Austin, training, getting ready for the season, not with the Seahawks. Now, maybe it's not even a second-round pick at this point. Maybe there's a higher asking price for Earl Thomas at this point. I'm not entirely certain, but if the asking price is a second-round pick and the Cowboys have been holding out for a situational second-round pick, or the hope being a conditional second-round pick and an overall third if he doesn't meet the conditions, then we'll see about it. But I think at this point, this defense looks like it's balling out. I mean, you've got studs along the defensive line. Randy Gregory playing and playing well on Saturday night. Plus, Taco Charlton's playing better. Tyrone Crawford. I mean, the thing is, when you've got a 14.5 sack guy on the left side and DeMarcus Lawrence, it's going to open up a ton on the right side. So, and then Jalen Smith, the way that he's playing, I mean, I'm going to get to Jalen Smith separately here in a little bit, but I mean, their front seven is dynamic. It looks unbelievable. So to really solidify that defense, Earl Thomas is the missing piece, in my opinion. My wife is in the comments saying that Asher is singing a song he made up about football. Can you hear it? Because I can certainly hear it in the room that I'm in, but I wonder if other people can also hear it through the microphone that I have. It's really adorable, and maybe perhaps later he can come sing it in this office studio that I'm in. Jeremy Mandel says, Cowboys legend DeMarco Murray was 29. You can do better than that. Who else wore 29 for the Cowboys? That's a bigger stud. Everybody hit the share button if you wouldn't mind. Post your comments. Thank you to all of our partners here at Phantom. We're at 99. This is sweet. Let's get us over 100. That'd be awesome. Robert Morales, go get Earl. Nick Gigas says, I like Mike White even though he doesn't get enough playing time. I like his arm. What's your thoughts? think the Cowboys have a couple of big issues. One is at safety, one's at backup quarterback. I wrote about this for 105 Through the Fan. The Cowboys have a major issue at backup quarterback. I didn't like anything I saw from Cooper Rush at training camp. I haven't liked anything I saw from him in the first 2 preseason games. Mike White looks, and I think it was Law Nation who pointed this out. Or maybe it was Okoye Media, one of our partners at Phantom, who basically said he looks like a punter out there. Like, Mike White looks tiny. So, like, that's part of the problem is you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater because Mike White is a baby. I mean, he's a undrafted free agent. He's young. You want to give him the opportunity to grow into his body because he's 6'5". You know, he's certainly got the size you want out of a quarterback. He's got a prototypical size and arm strength. The question is, can you sneak him out of the practice squad? Because I am utterly against keeping 3 quarterbacks from the Dallas Cowboys. John Missack says, are you concerned with Xavier Woods being injured against the Bengals? Of course. Yeah, because the prognosis on Woods wasn't as optimistic as it was on Zach Martin. So it looks like Woods could miss at least the first game. So, yeah, I mean, that's your entire offseason was geared towards having Xavier Woods be your opening day starter at free safety, and now that's not going to be the case. So who's going to be your opening day starter at free safety? My goodness, I hope it's not Tyree Robinson. And I liked what I saw from Robinson in the game on Saturday, but that's just problematic to go into week 1 with an undrafted free agent starting at free safety for this team. Let's see here. Boo, 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 boo. Chris Bennett wants to know if someone's painted a mural of Earl Thomas somewhere in Dallas. Somebody get on that. That's a great point. My wife says Jeremy Mandel, it's a mixture of the Jayhawks fight song and a Shabbat song. It's tremendous. Sounds good. Thanks. Wade Zetterberg says, who does that anyways, throwing a baby out with the bathwater? It makes perfect sense, Wade. All right. Also, are you concerned with the Cowboys blowing leads in the preseason? No, I'm not, John. Not in the least bit. Because you're talking about 3rd and 4th stringers for the most part. So, and I can't remember who wrote it, but somebody mentioned, might have been Bob Sturm, but basically somebody was like, by the way, a couple of years ago when the Cowboys went 13-3, they blew a ton of leads in the preseason too. So, I mean, they're not blowing those leads if their starters are in. They're not blowing those leads if Zeke Elliott's in the football game. I mean, they've got. You know, you've got a guy like Zeke Elliott. By the way, we haven't seen it get any preseason snaps. You know, you can salt away leads. So no, I'm not at all. You know, I'm not at all upset about that at all. Ray Pierce wants to know why there's such a drop off from first team to second team. I don't know that you can say that generally speaking. I mean, I certainly see that. I know, you know, when I wrote the article about the issues the Cowboys have at backup quarterback and how concerning that can be, people were like, well, their backup offensive line's terrible, their 3rd string offensive line's terrible, so they've got no time to throw the ball. And it's like, well, they're also going up against 2nd and 3rds. So it's not. I mean, it's not like there's 1st string. You know, Geno Atkins isn't rushing the passer against the 2nd and 3rd string offensive line for the Bengals versus Cowboys. So, you know, I wouldn't say there's just generally a significant drop-off between 1 and 2s on every position across the field. I think they've got some depth in some positions. I certainly think they have some depth along their defensive line, some depth along their linebacking core. Also keep in mind, I mean, going into the game, Tavon Austin didn't play, Leighton Vander Esch didn't play, Cole Beasley didn't play, Joe Looney is starting. So you already have Joe Looney, who's a backup, now starting at center. So that's your 2nd being your 1. So it's not just as simple as why is there such a drop off between 1 and 2. Let's see here. AC Calderon says Dalton Sturm. I don't think he's the answer at the backup quarterback position. Sean Moore says backup QB is a wreck, and yet some people want to replace Dak with Rush. Yes, Sean, I agree. It was as outlandish when people said it as it is or appears to be today. Let's see here. What did Kenneth Gant said that everybody's laughing about? What did Kenneth Gant say? People said, LOL, Kenneth Gant. I'm not saying anything from Kenneth Gant. Can somebody get me up to date on the Dallas Cowboys America's team page and what Kenneth Gant said? I'd like to laugh as well. Deborah Guffey gives me the, what do they call that? The heart emoji? There's got to be a name for that. But heart emoji to you, Deborah. Neil Fawver says, I'm on the Earl Thomas train now more than ever because of the injury to Woods. We have a pass rush. We have ball hawking corner. I'm trying to read the rest. There we go. We have a pass rush finally. Now we need those ball hawking center fielders. Yeah. You know, for me, if you're the Cowboys and you did not want to give up a 2nd round pick for Earl Thomas, then why were you willing to give up a 2nd round pick for Earl Thomas in the draft? That's what I don't get. Like, if you're at this point and you're basically just holding out firm with a hardline stance on not giving up Earl Thomas for a second-round pick, then why were you willing to give up a second-round pick for Earl Thomas during the draft? What's the difference? I mean, if you can give up next year's second for Earl Thomas right now and get him, that was what you were going to do a few months ago in the draft. Why not? So why not just do it again right now? Somebody tell me what Kenneth Gant said, because I can't find it. Let's see here. The legendary 29 jersey, LOL. Oh, what was his legendary 29 jersey? Was it DeMarco Murray? That was from my buddy Jeremy Mandel. What did Kenneth Gant have on the legendary number 29? Robert Preston Fowler says defense wins Super Bowls. Earl Thomas secures the safety and secondary in every way. Woozy paired with Thomas secondary, solid defense becoming potentially damaging every NFL East team. That's the saying, is defense wins championships, though it's not necessarily been, bearing itself out. I mean, go look at Super Bowl champions in recent history. They're either top 5 in offense or top 5 in defense. The majority of them, though, are top 5 in offense. So, offense wins championships. You just have to be adequate in defense. And I think in two areas where you have to be good or maybe, above adequate in defense would be pass rush and getting off the field on third down. Turnovers too, but turnovers are not necessarily something you could work on. Turnovers are, for the most part, a product of luck. Ultimately, I think offense wins championships, and I've been concerned with what I've seen from their offense. All right, I'm just going to scroll through all the pages, make sure I'm not missing any comments. I'm Ari Temkin from 105.3 The Fan. Hit the share button if you wouldn't mind. And also make sure, if you haven't yet, checked out SeatGeek, one of our partners at Phantom. If you like what we're doing at Phantom, help us grow Phantom by, 1, sharing our streams, and 2, helping out by going and checking out our sponsors. If you just go to SeatGeek right now and use promo code Phantom, that helps. Spend a couple of dollars, that helps too. If you use promo code Phantom at SeatGeek, by the way, you're going to get $20 off your first order. So if you're looking to go to the Cowboys-Cardinals Sunday Night Football game, awesome. You can go get cheap tickets. Look at SeatGeek, which aggregates all the different ticket brokers and ticket sites across all the different websites and platforms to aggregate them in one place. So go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app today. Use promo code Phantom. They're going to give you $20 off your first order. Do it now and help out us, what we're doing at Phantom. If you like what we're doing at Phantom, which is delivering live sports and live sports content to the digital space, interacting with you wherever you are, then make sure to check out our sponsors and help us continue to get more and more sponsors. Let's see here. On the Silver and Blue Nation page, late catching up there, Jessica Haggerty gives me the worried faces. She says we have what we need. Interesting. So who starts at free safety for you, Jessica, on opening day if Woods isn't? Jessica also says he was holding out to get more money. Come on, man. Y'all know he not coming here. They're not letting him go. I mean, I don't know that I agree with that, Jessica, simply based on the fact that, the Seahawks want him to play out the rest of this year and then enter free agency. That's what they want. He wants more long-term security. That's what he wants. He probably doesn't want to be in Seattle anymore, but he's willing to be there if they're going to give him the long-term security. So, look, Seattle wants him this year, or they want what they perceive to be fair market value, which I think they're looking at it and saying a second-round pick. But at any rate, it remains sort of unsolved. But Jessica, maybe you're right. I mean, maybe there is no price that they're willing to part with Earl Thomas. I just find that hard to believe, considering this is the last year of his contract. So if they don't end up with compensation for him, now they're going to let him walk, and they'll end up only with a compensatory pick. John Mishack says Jeff Heath is a strong safety, right? Yes, that's right. Eric Koscielny says he still has 4 or 5 more great years. Players are playing deeper these days. I mean, who knows? And look, I was always of the belief that, like, you give up a third-round pick for Earl Thomas, and you still, have your future in Xavier Woods. But at least this year, Earl Thomas gives you a bridge year with a guy that can be a veteran presence that's won at the highest level before. That is a great leader, that knows this defense that Chris Richard wants to run, and knows, the technique and scheme from their secondary. So it just seems like a perfect fit to me. And look, I was always of the belief that you have to hold out for, third-round pick is fine, especially if the fact that he's not traded, to me, notates that there's no team that's willing to give up a second-round pick for him. So that says fair market value is probably a third. But at this point, if it's a second that's going to get the deal done, I think you have to do it. I think you have to do it for the sake of bringing in a guy like Earl Thomas that is a proven leader, a proven winner, and is still one of the best free safeties in the National Football League. Right in the Law Nation page on Facebook, check it back in there. Ted Mitchell says White was a 5th round. Yes, that's right. Did I say that he wasn't? Richard Elizondo says we can draft a safety with that 2nd round pick, a younger player that can help a team for years. The asking price is too high. I don't know. I mean, I don't agree with that. I mean, yes, you could draft a young safety with the 2nd round pick. Or you could bring in an all-pro that's proven and is on track to become a Hall of Famer. You could draft a safety in the 2nd round, and he could turn out well. Or he could turn out like Gavin Escobar, former 2nd round pick of the Dallas Cowboys. Or you can go get a guy that's a proven winner and a proven great player right now. Eric Kashani says, 29 jerseys still open. That can't be coincidence. And Ray Pierce points this out, and that's a point I've made too. He can help teach the young guys in the defense. That's what you want. David Garcia says, what's your take on our backup quarterback rush? Looks like he's regressed big time. I wrote an article about this for 105 Through the Fan. Go check it out. By the way, I'm Ari Temkin from 105 Through the Fan. I host their pre- and post-game show along with the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. And I wrote for them this week about the backup quarterback situation is a major concern. A couple of weeks ago, I actually filled in on the Fan on the morning show with Sean Sharif, and he brought up the fact that the backup quarterback situation is definitely a problem. And I was like, it's okay, it's fine. It is what it is. They don't need to upgrade. But after 2 weeks of the preseason, it looks like they need an upgrade. Cooper Rush is not inspiring much confidence. He was on fire last year during the preseason, and he has looked pedestrian. If this were last year with Kellen Moore as the backup and Cooper Rush fighting for his life as an undrafted free agent, Cooper Rush is going to make this team. So why would you give him the benefit of the doubt now? I think you might call up the Jets and see what the asking price is on Teddy Bridgewater to be a backup, because they've got Sam Darnold's going to be the starter with New York. Josh McCown's their backup. So they're not going to keep Teddy Bridgewater. So you might ask, hey, what's sort of this advanced price on Bridgewater so that I know, before he hits the open market. I mean, I'm not giving away anything higher than a 5th for Teddy Bridgewater at this point, but maybe you can get something for, maybe you can end up getting him. He's the only guy that you look and survey guys that could be available that's like, yeah, go get this guy because I'd rather have him than Cooper Rush or Mike White. Tyrone Gaylor says, what about Teddy Bridgewater as a backup? I didn't know if that preceded my Teddy Bridgewater comments or not, but I believe, Tyrone, you just heard what I said about Teddy Bridgewater, who he's not going to make the Jets unless they decide to keep 3 quarterbacks, but they've got Darnold and McCown as the backup, so they've got the rookie with the with the veteran as the backup. So it would make no sense for them to to keep Bridgewater. So you if you're the Cowboys, you got to call up and see what the asking price would be. Ted Mitchell says, if ET is the only part we're missing, I'd say yes, but we're 3 or 4 parts away. You really believe that? What do you think those parts are, Ted? J.R. Briones says, you're paying what for a bridge year? What about Iloka? Yeah, I'm paying a 2nd round pick for a bridge year because he's that good. Like I think people are forgetting how good Earl Thomas has been. He's an all-pro. And so, I mean, now, I've called it a bridge year simply because I like what I've seen from Xavier Woods, and I'd like to see how he continues to develop. I'd almost, to me, the 2nd round pick obviously matters, but the money, long-term money, and the commitment they might have to make would matter even more. That could compound the issues when you consider, they're going to have to extend Dak, presumably. They might look at extending Zeke, presumably. Some of these other rookies, Jalen Smith, if he continues to play, so they're going to need that money to spend on their own guys. So that's why I look and say, this guy, if he bridges the gap, even if it's for a 2nd round pick, that might seem outrageous, but think of how important he could be, again, to be a coach on the field, considering he's played every year in the NFL with the Cowboys passing game coordinator right now. Hit the share button, post your comments, say what's up. I'm Ari Temkin from 105 Through the Fan. We're broadcasting live along multiple pages and channels, and I'm trying to get to everybody's comments along all the pages and channels, so bear with me. I'll try to get to those as soon as I can. A lot of comments here on the YouTube page for Law Nation 2.0, so I'm going to try to address some of those, but a shout out to all you folks watching along YouTube on the Law Nation 2.0, and a salute to Lawrence Thomas, the great Law Nation, my buddy, my brother from another mother. Don't call me Danny Glover. Is that what he says? I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head. But if you like what you see and you're watching on the YouTube page for Law Nation, go over to the Watch Phantom page. Make sure to subscribe there and support what we're doing here at Phantom. Ninja Nuts gives you the thumbs up. Thumbs up, Ninja Nuts. Great name. Adrian Soto says keep Rico in the 53. Kay says Rico will make the team. Guys, Rico Gathers is not making this team. Mr. Bruce Wayne says if you cut Rico, he's going to get picked up quick. You know, I agree with what people see with Rico Gathers. Like, I see value in Rico Gathers. Don't get me wrong. But you'll see other plays where he just completely messes up the offensive fluidity because he doesn't know what he's doing. He's basically had 3 years at this point to learn offensive philosophy, offensive principles, and he hasn't. So a guy that is productive and can catch passes for you, like, that's great. The problem is he's not able to do much else and can become a major hamperment for the progress of this offense. Richard Lozano checks in. What's going on, Richard? How are you, buddy? So, I don't think he's going to make this football team. I think he probably will get picked up. But I also, there we go. But I also think that other teams will find the same thing, which is, maybe you can figure out a way to scheme him on the field to get him the football. But the problem is you're telling the defense what you're doing when you send him out there, because he can't block and doesn't really know and understand how to grasp offensive principles. So, it's there on film. You'll hear it from scouts or former scouts and Brian Broaddus or whoever it is. It's like they know what the coaches are saying about Rico Gathers, and that is that though he's making some nice catches and he had another one against the Bengals, he's literally not doing anything else to make this football team, and that goes with understanding blocking, understanding route trees, understanding basic offensive principles and philosophies. Kay says, everyone forgetting how great Byron was yesterday. Ninja Nut says, Rico lumbers around everywhere and looks lost. Once in a while, yes, he makes an amazing catch. That's pretty much the perfect way. Ninja Nuts, thank you for pretty much summarizing exactly the Rico Gathers experience. He lumbers around, he looks lost, he doesn't know where to go, and then once in a while he makes an eye-popping catch. And every time he does it, it's like, from my vantage point, it's like, no, this is only going to bring up the misplaced love for Rico time and time again, which, again, gets me talking about it. Let's see here what else we have. Super Soul Cry says, and the other team can't stop him. I mean, first of all, he's going up against third and fourth stringers. Second, so you're talking about, he's going to be getting reps in first, second teamers during the regular season, and most likely first teamers, right? That are much more athletic than the guys who are going to be selling insurance in a few weeks that he's been going up against right now. The U says, if I were Rico, I'd been at the facility with a blocking coach all off season. Yeah, or for 2 years. I think that's where the Cowboys are right now. They're basically like, dude, you've had how long? 3 years? Is it 2 years or 3 years? Like, learn something. Eric Crescenti says Rico is a $500,000 practice guy. Interesting. I didn't know that. And by the way, practice squad guys traditionally will make $100,000. So for him to make $500K to be on the practice squad, that's pretty good. But again, he hurts them more than he helps them offensively. That's been sort of the summary of the Rico Gathers experience so far. Let's see here what else we got. I'm checking back now on the Dallas Cowboys America's team page. Keeping an eye on the Phantom page. Let's see here. Romo was finished. His body was done. It's why he was an announcer now. WTF. Oh, yeah, because Nicholas Price brought up the Romo thing. Yeah. Is Jeremy Mandel still watching? I know Jeremy will hit up the comments with his Romo love. But yeah, Romo was broken. I mean, haven't we gone past that already? And by the way, it wasn't the Jones family that was behind. I mean, it was Garrett, I think, that was kind of the first guy that was like, Dak's our guy. So we should not look at every move the Cowboys make and attribute it to the Jones family, quite frankly. They empower those underneath them, Will McClay, Jason Garrett, offensive coaches, defensive coaches, to make decisions and help them make decisions. It's not just an autonomous organization anymore, guys. They have a lot of people that are helping to make this final roster what it is. And that's the way quality organizations function. Neil Favre says, how great would it be to watch Earl smack some Seattle receivers around in Seattle this season? Awesome. Nick Gigas says 12-4, question mark. My official prediction is 10-6. Deborah Guffey says you're doing great. Thank you, Deborah. Let's see here. Let's talk about the slot cornerback situation from Sean Moore. Also, Sean, you don't win football games with that. With what I was talking about with Rico Gathers. Yeah. I mean, he can't. There was one point where he tried to make a down block during the game, and I mean, he just he didn't even block air. He didn't even attempt to block air. Like, he went for a down block and just kind of stopped, and then went upfield. It was like, wow, that's not good. That doesn't help. It's not helping. By the way, I'm Ari Temkin. We're live on Phantom, the New World Order of Sports Media. Make sure to check out the page at facebook.com/Watch Phantom. But a thank you and a shout out to all of our partners here at Phantom, especially on the Dallas Cowboys side. There's lots of great Cowboys content out there, folks, so go check it out. Law Nation does fantastic work on Facebook at the Law Nation page, or check out his YouTube page, Law Nation or Law Nation 2.0. Silver and Blue Nation, Producer G and Big Game James doing all kinds of great work with Silver and Blue Nation. Go check out that great page on Facebook and on YouTube. Dallas Cowboys America's Team. That's where I'm checking out the comments right now. Dallas Cowboys America's Team. Also, the Dallas Cowboys Fans Club with the Z Fans Club. The Tried, True, and Bleeding Blue, where they do watch parties all over the Dallas area for Cowboys games. So go check out that page. Have I missed anybody? I don't believe so. And if I have, my apologies. But let me just, again, check back in all these pages, make sure I'm not missing any comments. What did I have for my second topic today? What to make of Cowboys injury scares? But, Sean, don't let me forget, Sean Moore, watching on the Dallas Cowboys America's Team page, don't let me forget the slot corner situation. What to make of the Cowboys injury scares? Change, and we'll just stick with the broad. What did you like? What didn't you like? And in a moment here, I'm going to give you what I did like and what I didn't like. Let's see here. From preseason week number 1. But first, I want to check back in the Silver and Blue Nation page. Gregory Leland says we need to keep Rico Gathers. Look, here's what I'll say about Rico Gathers and the tight end position as a whole, because I already said what I need to say about Rico Gathers. But the Cowboys are in need of a playmaking tight end in the red zone. That's a truth. And I've talked about this a lot. When you look at advanced analytics, the best red zone offenses have tight end threats in the red zone. And they're matchup nightmares because, corners, the size of corners in the modern NFL can match up pretty well with receivers and play them well in the red zone. So when you get linebackers trying to match up with tight ends, that seems to be a continuous matchup nightmare. That's the reason that the Eagles have invested so much into the tight end position with Zach Ertz and then Dallas Goedert as a second-round pick. Ray Pierce is back on Rico again. This is the point I want to make, not just about Rico Gathers, but the tight end position as a whole. I'm worried about it for the Cowboys. And so the problem is, Rico Gathers isn't the answer, but the problem is they don't have an answer on their team right now. They don't have a legitimate red zone threat at tight end, which I think is an important dynamic to have in the red zone. The best red zone offenses, the team that cash in the most in the red zone, are teams with really good playmaking tight ends. So that's the problem that I have. If they're going to be targeting Swaim and Jarwin in the red zone, I don't know that those are the guys that are going to give you matchup nightmares like we see throughout the course of the rest of the NFL. That's all I'll say about the tight end position. I'm worried about it. It's a major issue for the Cowboys, and Rico Gathers doesn't solve that issue. That's all I'll say. Let's see here. Do you think we'll keep McKay? No. Mikal McKay is a practice squad guy. Because they already have issues at who they're going to keep at running back anyways. I mean, they've got too many numbers there anyways, so how can they keep Mikal McKay? I mean, they're basically going to be able to keep one of the guys in the Deontay Thompson, Lance Lenore, Noah Brown ilk. Only one of those guys makes the team if they're keeping 6 receivers. And at this point, I'd say it's Lance Lenore, but even with that, I mean, Deontay Thompson's the guy they signed in the offseason. So certainly there is, he's probably got a leg up despite the fact that Lance Lenore's had a great camp and has played well in the preseason. Let's see here. Ted Mitchell answered my question on the Law Nation Facebook page. O-line, backup safety, wide receiver, number 1, and one of the tight ends to stand out. O-line, you're fine along the O-line as long as you have Tyrod Smith, Zach Martin, and Travis Frederick. Safety, yes. Agreed with you there. Number 1 wide receiver, probably. And a tight end, I agree with you there. All right, here are the things that stood out to me from Cowboys-Bengals preseason week number 2 from where I was sitting in the press box. DJ Vega says Crawford's a big contributor, get overplayed. I don't agree with that. I think Crawford's kind of underrated. Tyrone Crawford's kind of underrated. Cowboys fans don't like Tyrone Crawford. I don't know why. He's okay. I mean, he's not great, but he's good. He's average. He's probably above average. But here's the deal with their defensive line. You've got DeMarcus Lawrence on one side, and he and his 14.5 sacks last year will command all kinds of attention on the left side, perhaps a double team, right? Which is going to open up one-on-one on the right side, the weak side, for Rico Gathers, he's on the name, for Randy Gregory, and they got RG, they're both RG, so it really messed me up. For Randy Gregory, for Tyrone Crawford, for Taco Charlton, for David Irving if he ever comes back. So Dorrance Armstrong, so they're going to have a really good defensive end rotation, which I'm really excited about. And a lot of that's due to DeMarcus Lawrence. Let's see here. Ray Pierce says, does Bo make it? Yeah. Bo Scarborough suffered an injury during the Bengals game, but he was back on the sideline working out. I think he's fine. It was a hip injury. However, I'll say this about Scarborough. Bo Scarborough has basically had injuries over the course of his entire career. In high school and in college, Bo Scarborough has had some pretty bad injuries. So that's something certainly to look for. But no, he's contributed on special teams. He's looked really good running the football. He's catching the ball in the backfield. Yes on Bo Scarborough making this team. Adrian Soto says, F no, Crawford overpaid. Yeah, I agree with the U. He's a good run stopper. He's a better run stopper than he is a pass rusher. He has a good motor, and he's a great leader. Agree with all that. He's fine. At what they're paying him, I wouldn't say he's overpaid. He's probably fair market value for the type of production he brings. At least that's my vantage point of it. Other things that I liked from the game. Jalen Smith. Guys, Jalen Smith is unbelievable. So there was a pass play that was completed down the field, and I don't know if you saw this. So was it John Ross? Is that his name? John Ross, right? Former 9th overall pick out of Washington. So John Ross is the guy that the Bengals drafted 9th overall a couple of years ago, who was 4.22 at the Combine. He broke Chris Johnson's 4.24 Combine 40 at 4.22. Well, he caught a 30-yard pass from Jeff Driscoll late in the second quarter. It was a pretty good catch. Jalen Smith was with him the entire way. Think about that for a moment. Jalen Smith, who really struggled and was exposed multiple times last season, time and time again. I mean, the reason the Cowboys defense couldn't get off the field in third down was because of Jalen Smith. So that guy was with a 4.22 guy step for step down the field. Now, again, Ross caught the ball, but it was insane. It was insane that he was with him step for step. That, to me, tells you a lot about how we're seeing Jalen Smith move. It's really impeccable how well he's moving. The front seven of the Cowboys, what's really weird is you hope that the offense will be where we expect it to be. Because sometimes it seems like in football, when you have these holes that come up, and it's like, so they had this great offense, and they had, this great offensive line, and they invested so much into it, and so now they had to plug up the holes in what they had on defense, and so they started to do that with draft picks, and now it looks like they plugged up those holes. But what happens in football a lot, because careers are so short, is sometimes when you plug up the other holes, now the holes on offense start to flow again. So I'm hoping that's not what's about to happen here, because I think there's concerns about the O-line. Especially if Frederick or Zach Martin miss significant time. So that's my feeling on it. Anyways, thank you everybody again for being a part of today's broadcast. I'm Ari Temkin. If you're new to the show, make sure to check out the page at facebook.com/Watch Phantom. I broadcast live every single day at noon Central right here on Phantom, the new world order of sports media. And again, thank you all for being a part of today's show. I'm back tomorrow at noon. Oh, also, I'll be at practice later on today, so I'll be doing a stream after practice. Make sure to check us out there.
Rumors, news, notes, injury information, Vegas lines, fantasy football, power rankings. Watch football games live with me. Phantom Football Forum. Only $1 for your first month if you sign up today. Facebook.com/Watch Phantom. Link right here. Come join us today.
I don't think it's going to be players. And my contention has never been that the players, other than quarterback, that the Broncos have are bad. Actually, offensive line and, tight end, too. I don't know if you have a tight end. Running back's not great either. But generally speaking, I think the talent on the roster is good. The talent on the roster is good enough to be at least 500. My problem here is Vance Joseph's brain. I do not think that Vance Joseph is qualified to be a head coach in the NFL. I think that last year was pretty much all Exhibit A, everything. I'm not telling you something you don't know. I think I saw somewhere earlier today, Vance Joseph has been called out. Oh, we got to get to this. I saw on social media earlier today that Woody Page was on Altitude. And he's telling Scott Hastings, he was telling Scott Hastings that he thinks that Vance Joseph's going to get fired after the 49ers game. And, I mean, stealing my takes? I mean, Woody Page? Come on, Woody. You're just trying to steal my takes? And don't give me this, I don't know who you are crap. You were following me on Twitter for quite some time, Woody. Broncos fans are smarter than people give them credit for. I think they're smarter than the average NFL fan, and they they're quiet about it a little bit, but they all kind of know whether or not the team's going to be any good, and they can tell. I think people last year, it was a little bit of a surprise to them. It wasn't a surprise to me. I've nailed this team since I got it. I knew exactly how bad they were going to be, and they were, and the reasons why were exactly the reasons why, and now all of a sudden everybody's like speaking my language, criticizing John Elway and saying, hey, I think you're screwing up the team, John. I think you maybe need to do something a little different there. Because they want people to be excited. They're really pushing product right now. Like a used car salesman. They have shined up their Vance Joseph, and they are pushing that out onto the showroom floor. Like, come on, guys, let's move some units. Let's see what we can do today. Let's hit a quota. They are really pushing product right now. The Broncos know what's coming. I think this is an indication. It's a big, bright sign that says we're not going to be good this year. And I know that there's hope. We've talked about this before. There's teams you trust in. There's teams you hope in. And the Broncos are a team that we're hoping are going to be good. But we have no trust or belief in them to do that. So that's fine. I'm just saying that 1650 just screams, please, let's not have empty seats. If an NFL team is selling their product for less than $75 a ticket, I kind of question what's going on. What, people not going to games? What's your strategy here? You're trying to find your price point. Because there are a lot of, it doesn't matter what the price is in New England. They're going to drive out into the wilderness. Have you ever been to Gillette Stadium? It is in the middle of nowhere. And they're just like, I don't know, like drones, like bees heading out towards, it's mindless. They all go out there and they just pay hundreds of dollars to watch Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and then beat off for 3.5 hours. That's not what the situation is in Denver right now. That you guys are not zombies to the Broncos right now. And I applaud 1650. I think that's good for fans. I really like that people are looking at that and saying, okay, hey, maybe it's attainable. I can go to a Broncos game this year. That's good. And I think it's good that the organization really pays attention to the fans that way. I just think that also means that they can't sell them for more because they absolutely would if they could. So this is the last week that we really have without any football. Next weekend, we got football, right? We got the Hall of Fame game coming up. T.O. isn't going to be mentioned at all. We'll see how that goes. But I really want people to focus in here on what I'm trying to tell you about Denver. The Broncos are going to have good players. Shane Ray's going to be healthy. I think that's not necessarily a given, but I think it does close to. I'm really optimistic. about Shane Ray, because typically, when a guy gets hurt like that, spends a year off, usually they come back and they're in pretty good shape. So I think Shane Ray is going to come back and he's going to be really, really good. I'm in on Derek Wolfe's neck. I think the neck is going to be good. Derek Wolfe's already had some really great comments. He's also got dreads, which, as we all know, that adds like 3 or 4 points onto your speed in Madden. So clearly, I think Derek Wolfe's going to be a faster, leaner Derek Wolfe. Hey everybody, welcome to Noon O'Clock. I'm TJ Carpenter, live here on Phantom. We're out here at Oscar Blues today. Want you to come on by and join us. Oscar Blues on Market Street in downtown Denver. It's a beautiful, absolutely stunning day today. You want to spend it outside, you want to spend a nice Monday the right way, do so in downtown Denver. We're going to be here at Oscar Blues all lunch long. They've got some awesome food. We're trying a couple of nice beverages. Have a nice little lunch beer. And treat yourself to a lunch beer out here at Oscar Blues Brewery on Market Street. And come on by here. We're going to be here a lot this coming football season. We're right down the road from Mile High Stadium. So make sure you check out Oscar Blues on Market Street as soon as you possibly can. And, of course, everybody get your questions in. We'll be talking to you all day about what happened with the Broncos. Good God. Good God, the Broncos. Is it kind of setting in for people at this point that the Broncos aren't going to be that good? We'll talk about it. We will get to all of your thoughts and questions. So today we're going to start. We're going to talk about Chad Kelly and how he will probably be the Kyle Orton of this team. Or not Chad Kelly. He'll be the Tim Tebow. The Case Keenum will be the Kyle Orton of the Denver Broncos. Everybody remembers 2011? John Fox, like week 7 or whatever it was, said Tim Tebow was going to be the starting quarterback right after the bye week. So we'll talk about that. Also, we will be talking about why the Rockies still don't matter, even though they've won 8 out of their last 9, and the Broncos look like they're going to be a sub-500 team this year. We're going to still tell you why the Broncos are way more relevant than the Rockies. And look, I care about the Rockies. It's you guys who don't care about the Rockies. So the second that you guys start caring about the Rockies, I'll start talking a little bit more about the Rockies. But I care. You don't care. And I'll tell you why. Coming up a little bit later on the show. Also, too, Paxton Lynch is now embarrassing. He's been embarrassing, but really it was just sort of like embarrassing himself. And I think now I feel sorry for him. And I think a lot of people feel sorry for him. So we're going to talk about why I'm embarrassed of and for Paxton Lynch. Been a rough road to hoe for him. Also, too, want to remind everybody about some of our great sponsors here on the show. First and foremost, let me tell you about SeatGeek. SeatGeek is one of my favorite places to buy tickets. Tickets for any sporting event across the country. You can get $20 off using the promo code PHANTOM. That's F-A-N-T-O-M. Use the promo code PHANTOM. You can get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Also, too, use that same promo code PHANTOM at betdsi.com. You get up to $2,500 matched on your first deposit. You'll have up to $5,000 potentially to play around with on BetDSI all football season long. All right, guys, let's get to some of your questions here. What's up, Eric? Eric says hello from Dallas. What's up, Eric? Thank you very much for joining the program. Anyone know who Alan Ball is? Google says he is a sports writer. Alan Ball? I don't know. Who is Alan Ball? Wade says LeVar's fourth son. I don't think that's right. John Misak says, what's up, John? I'm having a hard time believing Vance Joseph and Joe Woods right now. Totally understand it, man. Look, Joe Woods has done absolutely nothing since being named the defensive coordinator, and really, you could make an argument that the defense has gotten worse and worse and worse every single time that every single time out there since Joe Woods has been the DC. So, and Vance Joseph's supposed to be a defensive guy, and they can't get anything out of their defense right now. And look, it's just preseason. I get that. Preseason, things happen. Preseason is not always like the best way to determine what's going to happen to your season. But man, there are enough troubling things going on, troubling occurrences, if you will, for me to think that it's a problem, that they're not going to be that good this year. Let's see. Eric says, does he play football? Because dude said he's a corner. Wade, LeVar Ball, my job to sell Oscar Blues beer.
Oscar Blues is great, man. I love their beer. Dale's Pale Ale, Dalegate this football season. Who will be the Broncos MVP this year? Zach asking terrible questions already on the feed. Who's going to be the Broncos MVP this year? Probably Von Miller, right? It's got to be Von Miller. Eric says, I asked someone who Allen is. The dude said he's a corner for the Cowboys. I don't know him. Triple B's. Oh, he plays basketball. That's why I don't know who he is. Makes sense. I don't know. I don't like basketball. Yeah, Eric. Hey, I guess he's a basketball player. John says Lynch needs to be traded. Just have some optimism since he's got his ass booed in Denver. Eric says, I know why the seats are so cheap. Hard for a racist to fill seats. Okay, more Elway's garbage. Why did the Bengals release Ioka? Is there something wrong with him because he's never hurt? What's up with Chubbs back behind you wearing a backpack? I don't know. I don't know what that's for. I think that's somebody who's enjoying a nice adult beverage at lunchtime. So he is more than welcome to do what he likes. Okay, guys, let's talk about Saturday's game. The Denver Broncos needed at some point in this preseason to show us something special about themselves, something that they had shown us evidence of improvement. I think that's maybe my biggest issue so far with the Broncos in this season is that I have yet to see any improvement from this team on a football field. Not a practice, but like a real football field with a clock and refs and fans in the seats. To me, this team needed one of those moments where I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, there's something there. I'm talking about with the first team defense, first team offense. And finally, we got a chance to watch Case Keenum operate for longer than 2 series. He stayed in there for a lot longer than I thought he was going to stay in there. And what did I see from Case Keenum? I saw him look really, really good in the pocket and then not be accurate with his throws for most of the first go ahead, for most of his time on the field. Like, we're going to get to know a little bit more about Case Keenum in the third preseason game. But I think it should be noted that at this point, Case Keenum has not done anything to like show me that he's going to save this team, because that's what basically he was brought in to do, right? He was brought in to be the touchdown Jesus for the Denver Broncos. Save us from our lack of good quarterback play. For the love of God, we can't have another losing season. So he was paid $18 million to come in here and be the quarterback for a team that I'm not entirely sure you could say is going to be that good. Had a lot of talent. So plenty of opportunities so far for him to show something, and I haven't seen it yet. So I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm just saying I haven't seen it yet from Case Keenum. There was a play in the first quarter that I think will end up being a microcosm. It's a perfect analogy for the way I think the season's going to go. It was a flea flicker play. So he hands the ball off to, I think it was Devontae Booker. It's either Devontae Booker or Royce Freeman. I can't remember. Anyways, hands the ball off. Case Keenum gets the flea flicker back and then barely has enough time to throw the ball, kind of floats it. Wide open receiver, I think it was Emmanuel Sanders, who couldn't catch up to the ball because it was off target, and that was it. Incomplete pass, wide open receiver, couldn't get the ball to him because, Case Keenum. And look, the play itself is inconsequential, right? Doesn't matter because it's a preseason game. But it just seemed so perfect for the analogy of what I think the Broncos season's going to be this year. It's just a perfect analogy for what I think everything Broncos football related here, which is that if you take a look at everything that the Broncos have on their roster, there's nothing that screams big play potential. There's nothing that screams consistency. There's nothing that screams execution to get you really, really excited about that you see. There's all kinds of promise, right? Like the promise of having a new quarterback, the promise of having some new draft picks like Bradley Chubb, which, by the way, he got 2 points on a safety. Good for him. Still looked very much like a rookie. But you start watching, you watch that play, And you think there's the buildup. Okay, well, they've executed. The running back gets the ball. Oh, wait, no, it's a trick play. Case Keenum gets the ball, and he's got a wide open receiver, and they can't execute the play. So it's all this buildup. So like a really big moment for them. Which, that's not a standard play, right? You don't see a lot of flea flickers run in preseason. But yeah, hey, run a thing, see if it works. And what I saw basically occur was that the play was run flawlessly until it came time for the really, really important part, hitting the target. And then when they couldn't hit the target, that was it. Game over. And, that's kind of the way I think the season's going to go. There's all this buildup. There's everything going on in camp. There's everything that's happening around the team that's so important to so many different people. And then at the end of the day, you can't execute the play. So all of that buildup was for naught. And I think that's kind of the way this Broncos season's going to go, unfortunately, for fans, which is why I've been telling everybody, embrace the suck. You're going to watch football. You're not going to watch baseball. You're going to try to find other things that are going to entice you to pay attention to them, like the Rockies, et cetera, et cetera. None of it's going to come through for you. Absolutely none of it. So my advice would be to do everything that you absolutely everything you can to just embrace the moment and enjoy the game and have fun watching it. Because you're not going to see a whole lot of wins. If you base your fandom off of whether or not the Broncos win or lose and your enjoyment off of whether they win or lose, you're going to be miserable because this team is not that good. There's some guys you can root for, like root for Bradley Chubb, root for some individuals, root for something good to happen, but don't expect it to happen because if you're expecting good things to happen, I think you're going to be disappointed. But hey, if you can laugh at them, if you can laugh at your favorite team, if you can laugh at yourself, hey, you're going to have a lot of fun this Broncos season. All right, let's get to some questions, guys. I apologize for some of the choppiness with the video today if we're having any streaming issues. John says Eric was released because they love Jesse Bates better. Okay. Eric wants to know where I'm at. I'm at Oscar Blues Brewery today on Market Street in downtown Denver. Let's see here. John says QB savior for a guy who only threw 22 touchdowns. That's what you get when you've drafted very, very poorly at the quarterback position, and your only options are Kirk Cousins or Case Keenum because you've said no to everybody else already. We can go through the Colin Kaepernick thing again, but like his rationale for you had a chance to play for us and you turned us down, he uses that rationale for a lot of people, not just Colin Kaepernick. He used that for Tyrod Taylor, all kinds of other quarterbacks as well. Wade said Jimmy G isn't average. He'll be a great QB. Keenum is an average. He's another. Yeah, Keenum's not as good as Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't see that. Eric says he's better for what they are paying him. Jared says Jeff Hireman looks like he's going to be possibly have a solid year. Go Broncos, go Rockies from Albuquerque, New Mexico. What's up, Jared? Thank you very much for that. Okay, on that point about Jeff Hireman, I thought Hireman had a pretty good game. And Hireman, generally speaking, I think is I think he's going to be the starting tight end. And a lot of people were assuming it was going to be Jake Butt. Turns out Jake Butt's not nearly as far along as a lot of people think. He doesn't know the playbook quite that well. Hireman's going to be their guy at tight end, and he looks pretty solid so far. Generally speaking, the pros for the Broncos so far this preseason have been Royce Freeman. He's looked pretty good. Phillip Lindsay, he's looked pretty good, so that's a good sign for your running game. Jeff Hireman's looked good for the Broncos. I think that's it. I think that's all I could say in terms of positives, pros for the Broncos so far. Let's see. I wonder if Brady likes his backup making 3 times more than him. Probably not. What's up, John? Wallendorf in the house? Wade says Brady annually takes pay cuts. We don't need to talk about Tom Brady. I agree. Niners overpaid by a lot. Most players are overpaid. John says if they suck and get another top 10 or top 5 2019 draft pick, what position do you see us getting? I mean, if they suck again, probably quarterback. Do you let John Elway draft another quarterback in the first round? Can you? Will Elway refuse to draft a quarterback in the first round because he doesn't want to have egg on his face again with that position? Oh, did the video crash? I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. Okay. All right. Hopefully you guys are back. My bad. At any rate, yeah. Look, I think that when we take a look at the backup quarterback situation, you only really talk about the backup quarterback on a team this much when the team's not that good or when the quarterback is struggling. And it's been really interesting to see people react to Case Keenum because I don't think that they really trust what they've seen from Case Keenum so far. I don't think they really trust the track record. It's it's kind of like, it's like a TV show that you're on board with the first couple. It's like Lost. The first season of Lost was okay, right? We were watching Lost. It was pretty good for the first season. I was out by season 2 though, because they just got so ridiculous. It's one of the worst TV shows that was popular ever because it didn't make any sense. They had no like cohesion with anything that they did. But I didn't quite trust it yet. I didn't really know where they were going, and I was eager, I was interested, I was intrigued, just long enough for me to say, to realize how ridiculous it was. And I think that's kind of the way it is with Case Keenum. Keenum's not nearly as good as, or at least is not as trusted as what his season was last year. His season was good. Like, he had a good season last year with Minnesota, but it wasn't. People have this issue with the Rockies right now. They want to trust that their guys are legitimate starting pitchers and that everything's going to work out for the Rockies in the long run because their starting pitching is good enough to make it happen. And I'm like, if you guys watched this team this year, I mean, their starting pitching is good right now, but that doesn't mean it's going to be good all season because it hasn't been good all season. And also they have no prior experience that would justify believing that they could do that. So with Case Keenum, it's like, okay, well, Keenum had a good season last year, but that doesn't mean he's a good quarterback. It means he had a good season last year. That's how you view Case Keenum. Will that season happen here in Denver? Probably not. Probably not. All right, let's see here. What's up, Jenna? Jenna's in the house. We don't need you to respond to Wade's remarks. Tom used to pay cuts. I'm used to actual football remarks getting passed over. Shake my. What did you say, Wade? Free agent quarterbacks in what this franchise has kept himself on relevant, and drafting any QB for us hasn't been great since they came into the league. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Are you saying that free agent quarterbacks is what's kept the Broncos relevant? That's true. I think that's generally speaking true, because they drafted Jay Cutler. He was pretty good. They drafted Tim Tebow. He won a playoff game. But everybody else, nothing. So, yeah, John Elway was not a draft pick. Peyton Manning, not a draft pick. Those are your best quarterbacks in your franchise's history. Ari saying Lost didn't make any sense, just like the ending of True Detective Season 1. The ending made sense. Granted, it wasn't what you wanted, but it was a good season. True Detective Season 1 was a good thing. I don't know why you are in this crusade to say that True Detective Season 1 wasn't that good. I will say this, though. Lost had me for a little. I was a much younger person. I was on board with Lost for just long enough to realize that it sucked. So that was the moment where I realized J.J. Abrams was a fraud. I'm not a big fan of J.J. Abrams because he's ruined two science fiction franchises that I used to love as a child. Ruined Star Trek, and he ruined Star Wars. And so J.J. Abrams, most overrated director in Hollywood. I don't know why they've chosen to anoint him to be in charge of all the storytelling when it comes to Hollywood science fiction movies now, but he's ruined them, all of them. The last thing he did that was good was Alias. Yeah, that was like 15 years ago. J.J. Abrams is a fraud, totally overrated. Oh yeah, Jake Plummer and Craig Morton. Wasn't what I wanted is different than shitty ending that sucked. Let's see. Brent says, at least Broncos Stadium sells Dippin' Dots. All right, let me tell you this. So I told the story a little bit on the morning show today. So I got a chance to go out to the Broncos game, sit in the stands. I'm a man of the people. I like sitting with the fans. I have a press credential. I can go to the games if I want, but I'd sit in the press box. I don't really like doing that. I don't like the press box. It's too quiet, sterile, and it's just I just don't like it. There's a kind of a sycophantic kind of embedded reporter culture that's in every press box that I just don't care for. It's been in every press box I've ever been in. People look at you different. It's very much an insider-outsider thing. I don't like dealing with it. Press box is not for me. But I like going to the games if I can. And so my wife and I got some tickets. By the way, you can use the promo code FANTOM on SeatGeek. You can get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Just download the app today. So we went to the Broncos preseason game, and we sat up in the nosebleeds. And my wife, she said, I would like some Dippin' Dots because she saw somebody else with some Dippin' Dots. I got some beef with Mile High Stadium here. You only have one Dippin' Dots kiosk. No one knows where it is, and everybody's got Dippin' Dots except for my wife. And I have to go on some sort of like Lord of the Rings-esque quest to find this Dippin' Dots kiosk. We had to add me and Brent Malia with Coldwell Banker. He and I were at the game, and we were trying to find this Dippin' Dots kiosk. And it was like we asked a bridge troll at some point where the Dippin' Dots kiosk was. There was a security guard, a tickets person, one of the hospitality people. Where's the Dippin' Dots kiosk? And they're like, keep going. Just keep going past the end zone, and just keep going. It's down a level, and then you got to travel underneath this bridge, and then there'll be a magical land of fruits and berries. Go through that, and then walk underneath the waterfall, and then when you get there, there'll be a line with 700 people in it, just waiting to get the cash-only Dippin' Dots, of which there's only one kiosk and only one flavor left. Come on, Mile High Stadium. You have 80,000 people in that building, and you can't have more than one Dippin' Dots kiosk? I wasted the entire third quarter looking for Dippin' Dots. Like, how is that a way to spend a game? Come on now. I see you guys really like that comment. Thank you. Thank you very much. John says, Cleveland's last good drafted quarterback was Bernie Kosar, and I can't find one for Denver since. G says, okay, I'm back. Did I miss any Earl Thomas updates? You did, G. I talked almost exclusively about Earl Thomas at the beginning of the show, and you missed it. Dippin' Dots, the ice cream of the future. It's been the ice cream of the future for like 20 years. I remember getting Dippin' Dots when I was a child. I was at the Broncos Stadium in April 2017 to see the locker rooms next to the field and the room where CBS does their shows. Yes. It's a nice stadium. I mean, it's not like state-of-the-art anymore, but it's a nice stadium. It's one of the nicer. I think the inside of the stadium is one of the nicer stadiums in the NFL. Let's see. Andy says, Dippin' Dots created at Southern Illinois University. No one cares, Andy. No one likes Illinois. John says, Craig Morton was number 7 before John Elway. Land of milk and honey and Dippin' Dots. That's right. We finally found them, and then on the way back, we found out you can't take alcohol on the elevator, so we couldn't take the elevator back all the way up to the nosebleeds where we were sitting. So we had to walk up a circle, ramp all the way up to the very top of the stadium, and then climb up more stairs to get back up to our seats. It took us 45 minutes for these Dippin' Dots, and I blame Mile High Stadium. Very poor direction giving. You should have a map explicitly stating where the Dippin' Dots are. Everyone in your stadium should know where said Dippin' Dots are, and if they don't know where the Dippin' Dots are, I think that's an indictment of your staff. I've heard so many good things about Mile High Stadium. I'll tell you what's not good: their scarcity of Dippin' Dots locations. See, John says, as a Broncos fan, I was just excited at the time. That's good. That's good. Did Wade stop commenting because I didn't read his comment? Where's Wade? Wade, I'm sorry, buddy. Let's talk here. Let's engage. You want to talk about how Tom Brady played a half of football unnecessarily in the preseason? You want to talk about how Von Miller played a half of football unnecessarily in the preseason? Why was Von Miller still going out there? They had like every player who was on the starting defense out except for Von Miller. Didn't make any sense to me. By the way, getting back to the game here for a second, I also have to say, let's talk a little bit about Paxton Lynch. So Paxton Lynch after the game said that he doesn't want to be a backup, he wants to be the starter. He definitely doesn't want to be the third string quarterback. But that's the cards he was dealt. Let me tell you something. You didn't get dealt any cards, Paxton. Those aren't cards you were dealt. You were demoted because you're terrible. You suck. This is what I don't understand about Paxton Lynch, and this is why he has to be dropped. This is why he's an untradeable boat anchor at this point that you have to cut instead of actually get any kind of value out of at this point. If they're holding on to Paxton Lynch thinking they can trade him, they are out of their minds. No one is going to take Paxton Lynch. You shouldn't have taken Paxton Lynch. He is it's one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL. One of the worst, absolute worst draft picks I've ever seen in my life. And it's not just the fact that he can't read a defense. It's not just the fact that he's lazy as all get out. It's not just the fact that he's like, he drops his eyes and does not. He can only run the football now. It is the fact that he does not understand that he's lazy. He doesn't understand that he can't read a defense. He doesn't understand why he got demoted. I'm guessing right now Paxton Lynch thinks he's the best quarterback on the team. That's what Paxton Lynch believes. He believes that he's the best quarterback. That is insane for somebody to believe. Crazy. Crazy to think that he's the best he's the best quarterback on the team. Why would he think that? He went on to continue on in his quote. This was his quote. I'm never going to get up. I'm going to keep working hard. My mom worked hard. My mom never gave up. My dad never gave up. My family never gives up. I'm never going to give up. That's what he said. And he made it seem as though he's working as hard as he possibly can. Let me tell you this. If he's working hard, we have a really serious problem. If he's really working as hard as he possibly can, then Paxton Lynch is one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL draft period. I hope he's lazy. I hope that he is entitled and can't, and like that's his problem, that it's mental and that he's not working hard enough and he's just lazy and entitled and millennial. He's millennial to the max, and that's his issue. I hope that's his problem, because if it's not, worst draft pick ever, John Elway should be fired today for drafting that guy. If he really is working that hard, like that's the insinuation, right? Is that Paxton Lynch is lazy. It has to be the insinuation, because if it's not, we got really serious problems. We already have serious problems in Denver, but that would amplify it in a big way. And he says it's true. Most people in Illinois don't care about Illinois, mostly the politicians. Not sure if you know, TJ, but Dippin' Dots are the ice cream of the future. Thanks, Ari. Bring Wade back. And he says that's also true. Laugh my ass off. Lynch being a starter in his snowflake dreams. TJ, the future is not only the future is now. Future is now. Ari says it's never too late for now. Ari says, why did you upset Wade? Was it because you overrated True Detective Season 1 again? Lynch is like a Tebow. Needs to play a different position. Yeah, I take Paxton Lynch as a tight end, but I mean the work ethic thing is a problem. He's not going to be any better at tight end if he's lazy. He may not have to read a defense anymore and can just go out there and be an athlete. And if that's all he is, then yeah, put him at tight end. Tight end works that way. That's a good position to play if you're going to be a dumb. I don't need to work. My brain can't work hard for me, but my legs can. If that's you, then yeah, put Paxton Lynch at tight end. What if Paxton Lynch turns into a great tight end and we've got Jeff Hireman and Paxton Lynch at tight end, and people are like, yeah, Pro Bowler tight ends. And it looks like New England a few years ago when they had Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski. Hopefully, though, and I'm pretty sure he's not, Paxton Lynch is not a psychopathic killer. I think that's the hope, right? That Paxton Lynch does not go psycho at anybody and just start murdering people. TJ, I bet you were a big fan of the movie Avatar. You know, it was all right. I thought it was a ripoff of Fern Gully, but other than that, it's okay. I have no problem with that premise. I mean, it's basically the Native American premise, right? It's the same movie as Dances with Wolves and Fern Gully. It's the same movie. Avatar's the same thing. I don't think they deserved a theme park. I think James Cameron's ego got a little away from him there, but a theme park that took a decade to build, and then everybody's like, why are you opening up a theme park around the movie Avatar? It doesn't make any sense. Nobody liked that movie that much. Let's see here. Will every QB failure for the Broncos be compared to Tebow? No, well, see, I want to compare Chad Kelly to Tim Tebow. I don't want to compare Lynch to Tebow, because I think Tim Tebow is significantly better than Paxton Lynch. Tim Tebow at least understood his limitations, worked incredibly hard, and did what he could with what he had. I respect Tim Tebow. I don't think he was a starting NFL quarterback, but I respect that guy. I really do, because he works his ass off. He's a great teammate. Like, all those things about Tim Tebow are true. He's a great football player. He's a great teammate. He works his ass off. He's intense. Like, he really genuinely wants to win. He's going to work as hard as he possibly can for you. I'll take Tim Tebow in a heartbeat. You give me identical rosters. Paxton Lynch starts for one team. Tim Tebow starts for the other. I'm taking the Tim Tebow team 10 out of 10 times. Because once again, I don't think he's a good starting quarterback. He wasn't a good starting quarterback. He's not a good baseball player, but that guy's a competitor. I'll take competitor over Paxton Lynch. Lazy-ass, useless Paxton Lynch. I mean, at this point, Paxton Lynch is an embarrassment to the city of Denver. You have to trade him. He's an embarrassment to every player on your roster. He's an embarrassment to your front office. He's an embarrassment to the uniform. He is an embarrassment to the logo. He's an embarrassment to the Mile High City. He is tall. He is tall. He should get a job getting things off of high shelves for old ladies. He'd be really, really good at that. Cutler was lazy. Yeah, Cutler could play. Cutler could read a defense. Cutler was talented, you know. He could play football. He was actually a quarterback. Paxton Lynch isn't even a quarterback. John says, I can get that Lynch is the worst draft pick ever. Yeah, he is. You're right. John says, I said Lynch should be a tight end last year. I think you're right, John. I think that's a good analysis. Paxton Lynch for tight end. Chad Kelly for starter. Paxton Lynch for tight end. But then we can have our backup quarterbacks be on the field. Everybody will be happy. If you're going to suck, why not just really, really suck? I mean, just start experimenting. It's a safe space when you're terrible. Good to see you back there. Yeah, what's up, Patrick? You're not here today, I don't think. I haven't seen you walking around yet, but I'm sure we'll see each other very, very soon. Ari says, what beer are you drinking at Oscar Blues? I'm actually having this Old Mine salted mango cider. Now, this stuff is really, really good. Our Moneybags CEO, Zach Rosenberg, also had it. We got the last on tap here, so you can't have this beer. They're getting more. They'll have some here soon, but the good beers here, they run out of really, really quickly because there's such a high demand. It's a really, really popular place with the people who know about it. So if you haven't heard about Oscar Blues, you need to come on by soon. Check out some of their beer. Dale's Pale Ale, I highly recommend. And they got some 1050 here as well. Ask them about their 1050. It is spectacular. Let's see. Andy says, give Lynch a robo-armored arm guard like Gronk, and Lynch will be awesome at tight end. Yeah, I think so. He's got good hands. I mean, he's tall, he's fast. I mean, the only plays that he makes are with his feet. So why not have him out there running routes? You know what he'd have a problem with if you put him at tight end? Running routes. Because even then, of course, Paxton Lynch is the only thing he can do as a wide receiver or tight end is run down the field and then jump up to catch the ball. That's all Paxton Lynch would be able to do. Because, of course, He's just a waste. I'm going to go back to what I was saying earlier this year. He is a waste of a roster spot. Paxton Lynch is a waste in so many different ways. And he says, who is better, Paxton Lynch or Mike Glennon? Mike Glennon, yeah, easily. Glennon can read a defense. Travis Kelce is a better quarterback than Lynch. Yeah, probably. I would say that. I would take Travis Kelce at quarterback. We did this on the morning show today. We asked how, of these people, who would you take at quarterback over Paxton Lynch? And it's a lot of different people's birthdays today. Don King. I'll tell you what, Don King would be a better trash talker than Paxton Lynch, that's for sure. You want somebody to keep up with Jalen Ramsey in the league? Don King. I would take Don King, who's 74 today. I would take him over Paxton Lynch as a backup quarterback. There were actually some legitimate birthdays. I can't remember the names of the guys. It's Todd Helton. It's Todd Helton's birthday. I would take Todd Helton, who played quarterback. I would take Todd Helton today. Real, actual, live Todd Helton over Paxton Lynch on this roster today. Hands down. Now, Todd Helton might get hit and die because he's like 45, but I'd take 45-year-old Todd Helton right now. I would take Brett Favre out of retirement. I've seen those nose hair trimmer commercials. Brett Favre can throw a pass to a dog better than Paxton Lynch can hit a wide receiver wide open in the field on an NFL team. I will take Brett Favre throwing passes to a golden retriever before I put Paxton Lynch back behind center. Let's see here. Who is better, Paxton Lynch or Bill Paxton? Well, I think Bill Paxton's dead. Is Bill Paxton dead? I think Bill Paxton's dead, isn't he? Anyway, yeah, I would take. I think Paxton Lynch only by virtue of him still being alive. Who is better, Paxton Lynch or John Lynch? I think I'd take John Lynch. Oh yeah, I take John Lynch over Paxton Lynch. Like just on a roster, absolutely, John Lynch. John Lynch right now in a suit and tie. If he was out there with no pads and just in a GM outfit, yeah, having to throw passes in like penny loafers, yeah, I will take John Lynch. Let's see, I work at 4. Salted mango is so good from Erie, Colorado. It is Old Mine salted mango. I highly recommend it. I was looking for a place to buy it. I don't know if it's really it's a difficult beer to acquire anywhere other than Oscar Blues Brewery. So come on by to Oscar Blues Brewery, downtown Denver, Market Street, and you can try some of it. I know I talked to their guy earlier. They're getting some more. Did Zach rent out the entire restaurant so he wouldn't be bothered by commoners? He did. He did do that because that's how Zach rolls. Andy says, who is better, Paxton Lynch or Jason Paxson? Or John Paxson? I don't know who John Paxson is. Should I know who that is? Am I being an idiot right now? Who's John Paxson? If Paxton Lynch was to start and play an entire NFL game, what would happen? Would the stadium spontaneously combust? People would throw trash on the field. If he started an entire NFL game and Vance Joseph refused to take him out, I think what you would see are just a rain of booze, trash, falling from the sky everywhere, and then it would just they would have to stop the game, and then there would be so many boos, and then the coaching staff would look up to the press box, the owner's box where John Elway is, and then John Elway, like Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator, thumbs down for Paxton, and then I think they would just kill him right there. They would just with a sword, just chop right there, just Roman Coliseum Gladiator style. That is not how you want to be cut, Paxton. So let's just, when it push comes to shove, just say, hey, cut me. I know what the deal is. I need to go be an assistant coach back in Memphis or something because this ain't working. This whole NFL thing I ain't cut out for it. Let's see here. There was only someone posting an athlete birthday articles on WatchPhantom.com. Hashtag I need my son to go to school. Andy, go read Andy's stuff at WatchPhantom.com about athlete birthdays. John says, Ari, look at the game against the Raiders last year. It gave the Raiders their first pick of the year. And then he cried on the sideline. Did you see that? Where he cried on the sideline? Because the Raiders were so mean to him. They were picking his passes off. He didn't like it. He had to cry on the sideline. I have no remorse. People feel sorry for Paxton Lynch today. No, I don't feel sorry. Nate Lundy on the morning show today, on mornings at 5280, 1340 a.m. So Nate Lundy said this to me today on the show. He said, I didn't like it that fans booed Paxton Lynch on the way on the field. And I said, I'm fine with it. If you're as bad as he's been, you're not booing Paxton at that point. You're booing Elway. You're booing Vance Joseph, although I don't think it's Vance Joseph's decision to keep him on the team. If it were up to anybody other than John Elway or Paxton Lynch or Paxton Lynch's mom, he'd be on another team right now, or he wouldn't be in the league. So I think a lot of this is on the management. They have to call it quits. John Elway and the Denver Broncos have to cut Paxton Lynch. They cut Menelik Watson today. I mean, Menelik Watson was terrible last year. He's not even the starter anymore. He's been garbage since he came to Denver. And so he's not on the team anymore. He got released today. That was a long time coming. And the next thing to come is going to be Paxton Lynch getting cut. Has to be. He is an embarrassment to you. TJ, did you boo at Lynch? I didn't. I didn't boo Lynch. I'm not a booer. That's not true. I am a booer. I like booing people. I like it when people are booed. I think booing is one of the best things in sports. It's one of the best things about sports. People think it's classless, or that, it's like, oh, don't do that. Don't boo people. I remember Chiefs fans booing Matt Castle when he got a concussion and was being carted off the field, and he was booed by fans. They had one win at that time, and I remember Eric Winston was really, really upset about it after the game. And yeah, I mean, if it's your body, you're going to be upset about that. But I mean, booing people, you're fans. Fans are going to boo people they don't like. Peyton Manning got booed. Peyton Manning got booed in Denver. Of course, he threw 5 picks in that game, which, people are, Ari was asking earlier, what would happen if Paxton Lynch got to start an entire NFL game? And some people may say, well, he'd throw 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 interceptions. And my answer would be, no, he wouldn't. He would get sacked 32 times. I think he would set a record for most times sacked in an NFL game. It would be every play until they started running it. Every time he dropped back, he'd get sacked. Bottlegate 2.0. Yeah, basically. I think Cheeto will take Jalen Ramsey, #1 quarterback title. Why would a sports nihilist not boo? Sure, I'll boo. I'll boo anything. I'll boo anything. I don't care. I just wasn't like I said, I was searching out a lot of different things at the time in the stadium. So when Paxton Lynch came onto the field, I was searching for Dippin' Dots. I think that's the main reason why I wasn't able to boo Paxton Lynch in person. 4 picks from Manning. The 5th was from Osweiler. That's right. 4 picks against the Chiefs, and then they benched him. And I thought after that game, Peyton Manning was never going to play again, and they won the Super Bowl. So, Peyton Manning gets booed, and he's like, all right, well, fuck you guys. I'm going to go win a Super Bowl. Paxton Lynch gets booed, and he wonders why he's not the starter. That's the difference between Paxton Lynch and Peyton Manning, if you could say anything. I would love to hear stories about what Peyton Manning thought of Paxton Lynch the one year that they were together in the locker room. All right, they were together a year, weren't they? There was 1 year where they were together. Is that right? Or maybe not. No, it was Osweiler. Paxton Lynch wasn't on the team yet. I would like to know what he thinks about Paxton Lynch, though. If they've ever had a conversation, I want to know how that conversation went. I want to know whether or not Peyton Manning had one of those, is this guy an idiot moments. What do you think about the Redskins signing Adrian Peterson? Does it offend you? Why would the Redskins signing Adrian Peterson offend me? Is that supposed to be a joke because Adrian Peterson beats his kids and the Redskins they have an offensive mascot, so it's like offensive plus offensive equals super offensive? Is that what it is? Those are the what you call it, the narratives around those particular situations. I wanted to get to this because, like I said, we don't talk a ton of baseball, but I wanted to talk about this a little bit in the baseball section. Here is why the Rockies still don't matter. The Rockies have won 8 out of their last 9. They just swept the Braves on the road. Their pitching staff has been great. They've played a lot of games, like 46 games against teams with winning records. It's a franchise record. It's an MLB record. No team's ever done that before. And they've been, relatively speaking, pretty good. Here's my issue. If you watch these guys pitch, and you watch these guys play, and you've been watching them play all season long, and you've been watching baseball long enough to understand the ebbs and flows of a baseball season, you know that all of this is fool's gold. All of it. They've got a young pitching staff. They've got a young pitching staff that's pitching well right now. But they're not going to pitch well much longer. And as seasons ebb and flow, this one also ebbs and flows. And the Rockies pitching has been inconsistent all season long. So even though they won 8 out of the last 9, the Rockies are in a position right now where they've got a starting rotation that is chocked full of young guys, the best of whom is John Gray, who was in AAA earlier this year. And not because his stuff wasn't that good. His stuff has always been good. In fact, he was 4th in Major League Baseball in strikeouts when he got sent to AAA. And so now, when you're trying to determine whether or not you want to root for this team or not, or follow this team or not, or pay attention or invest, the hierarchy of your attention. The reason I bring this up is because I was at the Broncos game, and I had all these people on my Twitter timeline asking, did you see the Rockies? Did you see the Rockies? Did you see the Rockies? I said, no. I'm trying to get drunk watching preseason football. Leave me alone. I have important things to do. Don't bother me with irrelevant, pointless things that don't matter, like Rockies baseball. And everybody got mad at me. Why? The Rockies don't matter. They're not important. They don't move the needle. I care about the Rockies. You don't care about the Rockies. I watch every Rockies game I can. I watch most of the Rockies games. You guys don't watch Rockies games. You guys don't care about the Rockies. If you did care about the Rockies, there wouldn't have been 50,000 people at that preseason football game the other night. By the way, it is amazing to me how much a preseason football game crowd sounds and behaves like a really, really passionate, into it, die-hard baseball town regular season baseball crowd. That's what it reminds me of. It's preseason football, regular season baseball, same kind of crowd. Exact same. There just isn't that much importance around baseball in general. And certainly not that much importance around the Rockies, who, if you really want people to pay attention to the Rockies, here's what's going to have to happen. In this town, you're going to need to make it to the playoffs, win the wild card game, and then win another round in the playoffs. You're going to have to get to the NLCS for people to care about this team. And the reason why that threshold is so high is because nobody cares about baseball, especially not in Denver. And then, in addition to that, the Rockies have no tradition of success or championship winning at all. So you're going to have to overcompensate for how bad you've been throughout your history. Let's see. Andy says, what offends me is AP will never go to a Super Bowl. Much like LaDainian Tomlinson. Let's see here. Paxton Lynch was a bust, and I remember saying this on Twitter. I'll try to get a screenshot for you. Thanks, John. What is baseball? In 2016, baseball? What is this, 1915? Did the Titanic just sink? I think Peterson to the Redskins is an okay move because it's a good third down running back. Yeah, that's accurate. Ari also says, if I wanted to hear about baseball, TJ, I'd go to a retirement community. Is George Ruth still pitching? Thanks, Andy. Did you hear about Franz Ferdinand? Europe gripped in turmoil. Right, because World War I was happening when baseball was popular. Andy, all I care about in regards to the Rockies is when the Union and Pacific Railroads will meet. That's pretty good. Why are you talking baseball? Why not just recap the last season of Matlock, TJ? Did you hear about that family of cannibals that got lost on their way to Oregon? I did not hear about that, Andy. Look, what I'm saying here is that the Rockies are irrelevant, and just because they have good attendance at the baseball stadium and they've won a lot of regular season games does not mean that people deserve, people owe it to them to pay attention to the Rockies. Get the fuck out of here. No, they don't. It's just silly. That's stupid. The Rockies don't move the needle. They don't move the needle because they do this every year. They've done it every year they've been in existence, except for one where they made the World Series and then got swept there. And that was kind of weird. It was a bizarre circumstances around that. I'm just telling you guys. Don't try to shove Rockies down people's throats. The people who are really, really into baseball, fine. Just stop trying to tell me that people should consider the Rockies as definitively good. You're trying to sell me something that I don't want. You're trying to sell me a baseball team that has no legitimate starting pitchers, like legitimate ace starting pitchers. They don't have any, they don't have the starting pitching. Their bullpen has been inconsistent all year long, and their offense is inherently inconsistent because it's offense. It's like, okay, yeah, congratulations, you hit a lot of home runs. Everyone does, except for the Royals. Everybody hits home runs. Everybody has offense that's good. Like, who cares? Do you think defense matters in baseball? Not the way you guys play, not the way everybody else plays. Who cares about defense? Okay, Nolan Arenado's got a good arm. That's great. He's the only one. Like, okay, there's a lot of good stuff about the Rockies baseball team, but it's not enough good stuff. That's the problem with baseball, is that unless you've got an ace starting pitcher on your staff, you're not going to do anything. You have to have that guy on your team. I don't know why I have to keep explaining this to people in Colorado. It's like you guys don't know anything about baseball. Ari says, get off TJ's lawn, Colorado Rockies. Yeah, get off my lawn. And he said, did you hear about that? Yeah, okay, wait, we already read that one. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for us here live from Oscar Blues. Once again, come on down to Oscar Blues, downtown Denver on Market Street. Whether you want to get a brew before a Broncos game or they're busing people to the stadium from here. So make this your pre- and post-game headquarters for all your Denver Broncos games. Nuggets and Avs as well. Pepsi Center is literally just a stone's throw away. So as is Coors Field, if you're into that kind of thing. Also, too, don't forget, go to SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code FANTOM. That's Phantom. You can get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Also, if you want to get your first deposit at BetDSI.com matched up to $2,500, you could have $5,000 to play around with on BetDSI by using the promo code Phantom. That's FANTOM. And, of course, don't forget, Platte River Mortgage and Brent Malia Properties with Coldwell Banker. Platte River Mortgage helped us with our mortgage. When we were buying a house, my wife and I, we needed some help getting our mortgage. They helped us get that done. Also, too, Brent Malia Properties with Coldwell Banker. Go to tjsagent.com to hear more about Brent. Brent is one of my good friends. We went to the Broncos game with them the other night and had a lot of fun. And I really love the fact that, Brent was one of these guys who we actually had an opportunity to really kind of develop a good personal relationship with. A lot of real estate agents aren't like that. And Brent's somebody I call a friend now. He's somebody who, we met because we needed a house, and we have continued to be friends with because he's really that kind of person. His family's that way, and everything that he does shows you that he cares about you and cares about what happens to you in your life. And, that's pretty rare when it comes to real estate, especially in a place like Denver, where it's pretty competitive. It's kind of a transactional relationship with a lot of people. Brent's not that way. Brent is the kind of person who puts a lot of tender, loving care into everything that he does, especially when it comes to his clients. So go to tjsagent.com if you're looking for a house in Denver. Brent Malia with Coldwell Banker will help you out. Final comments here. John says, I'll go scratch for those tweets for you. I'll go search those tweets for you. Thank you very much, John. Get us those tweets. Follow John's stuff as well. He does really, really good stuff here on the Broncos. Everybody does. Want to thank everybody for watching, participating, getting involved with the show here and everything that we do here on Phantom. Thank you very much. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm TJ Carpenter, live on Phantom. Later, y'all.